We believe we are free to choose our jobs, our careers, our lives. We navigate through a myriad of options, believing that each decision is a testament to our autonomy. But are we truly free? Or is this freedom merely an illusion, a carefully constructed narrative that keeps us complacent? Or are we bound by invisible chains, shackled to a system that thrives on our silent compliance? These chains are not physical, but they are just as restrictive, limiting our potential and our happiness. The modern workplace, with its sleek offices and promises of opportunity, often masks a darker reality. A reality where the facade of progress and innovation hides the true cost of our labor. A reality where long hours, limited flexibility, and corporate influence erode our freedoms, leaving us trapped in a cycle of work and consumption. We become cogs in a machine, our individuality and creativity stifled. We are told that hard work leads to success, that our jobs define our worth. But at what cost? The relentless pursuit of success often leaves us drained, our personal lives neglected. The relentless pursuit of productivity, the constant pressure to do more with less, has created a culture of overwork and burnout. We are pushed to our limits, our mental and physical health compromised. We are tethered to our devices, always available, always on. The expectation to be constantly connected blurs the boundaries between work and personal life, leaving us with little respite. The lines between work and life have blurred, leaving us with little time or energy for anything else. Our homes, once sanctuaries, have become extensions of our offices. The modern workplace often feels like a gilded cage. The allure of high salaries and luxurious offices can trap us in a cycle of dependency and dissatisfaction. We may have comfortable salaries and enticing perks, but these golden handcuffs often come at the expense of our freedom and well-being. The cost of these perks is often our time, our health, and our happiness. We trade our time, our health, and our passions for the illusion of security and success. The clock becomes our enemy, each tick a reminder of the time we are losing. But true freedom lies not in the size of our paychecks, but in our ability to live authentic, meaningful lives, to pursue our passions, and to spend time with loved ones. It is in these moments that we find true fulfillment and joy. It is time to question the status quo, to challenge the notion that work must come at the expense of everything else. We must advocate for a new paradigm, one that values balance and well-being over relentless productivity. We must break free from the golden handcuffs and create a world where work is not a means to an end, but a fulfilling and integral part of a balanced and meaningful life. A life where our work supports our dreams rather than stifles them, and where our true potential can be realized. The modern workplace has become synonymous with long hours and relentless work. Employees are often expected to be on 24/7, constantly checking emails and responding to messages, even outside of work hours. This blurring of boundaries between work and personal life has created a culture of overwork, where employees feel pressured to prioritize their jobs above all else. The lack of adequate breaks and time off further exacerbates this issue. Many employees are hesitant to take vacations or even sick days, fearing that they will fall behind or be perceived as replaceable. This constant pressure to work takes a toll on both physical and mental health, leading to increased stress, anxiety, and burnout. The long hours and lack of breaks are not just detrimental to employees' well-being, they also have a negative impact on productivity and creativity. When employees are overworked and exhausted, they are less likely to produce their best work. They become disengaged, demotivated, and more prone to errors. It is essential to recognize that employees are not machines. They are human beings with physical, emotional, and mental limits. Enforcing a culture of overwork not only harms employees but also ultimately hurts the bottom line. Companies that prioritize employee well-being by promoting reasonable work hours, encouraging breaks, and fostering a healthy work-life balance are more likely to attract and retain top talent, leading to increased productivity, creativity, and overall success. The influence of large corporations on government policies is undeniable. Through lobbying efforts, campaign contributions, and strategic alliances, and revolving doors between government and the private sector, corporations have managed to embed themselves deeply within the political framework. This entanglement allows them to wield significant power in shaping legislation that affects workers' rights and labor laws. The policies that emerge from these interactions often reflect corporate priorities rather than the needs of the general populace. This influence often tilts the scales in favor of corporate interests, creating an environment where the voices of ordinary workers are drowned out. As a result, workers are left vulnerable and unprotected, facing challenges that are exacerbated by policies designed to benefit the wealthy and powerful. One of the most concerning aspects of corporate influence is its impact on minimum wage laws. The debate over minimum wage is a clear example of how corporate interests can conflict with the needs of the workforce. While corporations argue that raising the minimum wage would stifle job growth and lead to increased automation, studies have shown that modest increases can actually boost the economy by putting more money in the pockets of low-wage workers, who are more likely to spend it on essential goods and services. This increased spending can stimulate local economies and create a positive ripple effect throughout the community. However, powerful lobbying groups representing big businesses often succeed in blocking or delaying minimum wage increases, using their influence to maintain the status quo. This leaves millions of workers trapped in poverty, struggling to make ends meet despite working full-time jobs. Another area where corporate influence is evident is in the weakening of labor unions. Unions have historically played a crucial role in protecting workers' rights, advocating for fair wages, benefits, and safe working conditions. They have been instrumental in negotiating better terms for workers and ensuring that their voices are heard in the workplace. Through collective bargaining, unions have been able to secure significant improvements in the quality of life for many workers. They have also been pivotal in establishing safety standards that protect workers from hazardous conditions. However, corporations have actively sought to undermine unions through tactics such as union-busting campaigns, outsourcing jobs to countries with weaker labor laws, and promoting right-to-work laws that weaken unions' bargaining power. These efforts have significantly reduced the influence of unions, making it harder for workers to advocate for their rights. The undue influence of corporations on government policies creates an uneven playing field, where the interests of the wealthy and powerful are prioritized over the needs of ordinary workers. This imbalance erodes workers' rights, perpetuates income inequality, and undermines the very principles of a fair and just society. The disparity between the lavish lifestyles of corporate executives and the struggles of low-wage workers is stark and troubling. Addressing this issue requires a multifaceted approach, including enacting campaign finance reform, strengthening disclosure laws, and empowering workers to have a greater voice in the political process. Campaign finance reform is essential to reduce the outsized influence of money in politics, ensuring that elected officials are accountable to their constituents rather than to wealthy donors. Strengthening disclosure laws can increase transparency, allowing the public to see who is funding political campaigns and lobbying efforts. Empowering workers through stronger unions and more robust labor laws can help balance the scales, giving them a fair chance to advocate for their rights and interests. The modern economic system has created a situation where many workers feel trapped, beholden to their employers not just for their livelihoods, but for their very survival. This sense of entrapment is not just a fleeting feeling, but a persistent reality for countless individuals who find themselves in a cycle of economic dependence. The rising cost of living, coupled with stagnant wages and a lack of affordable housing, healthcare, and education, has left many individuals and families struggling to make ends meet. Every month, they face the daunting task of balancing their budgets, often having to make difficult choices between essential needs. The pressure to provide for their families can be overwhelming, leading to a constant state of anxiety and stress. This economic precarity makes it difficult, if not impossible, for many workers to speak out against unfair labor practices or to seek alternative employment opportunities. The fear of retaliation or job loss looms large, silencing voices that might otherwise advocate for better working conditions. The lack of job security means that even the thought of searching for a new job can be daunting, as the risks often outweigh the potential benefits. The fear of losing one's job, and with it, access to essential needs such as healthcare, is a powerful motivator for compliance. This fear is not unfounded, as many workers have experienced the harsh reality of unemployment and the subsequent loss of benefits. The stress of potentially losing healthcare coverage can be particularly acute, especially for those with chronic health conditions or families to support. Workers may tolerate long hours, unfair treatment, or even unsafe working conditions out of fear of losing their only source of income. The need to maintain a steady paycheck often outweighs concerns about personal well-being or job satisfaction. This can lead to a cycle of burnout and mental health issues, further exacerbating the worker's sense of entrapment. This fear is often exploited by employers who may be aware of their workers' vulnerable positions and use it to their advantage. They may impose unreasonable demands, knowing that their employees have little choice but to comply. This power imbalance can create a toxic work environment where workers feel undervalued and powerless. Furthermore, the gig economy, while often touted as offering flexibility and independence, can exacerbate this economic dependence. Gig workers frequently face unpredictable income streams and lack the stability that traditional employment might offer. The promise of flexibility often comes at the cost of security, leaving gig workers in a precarious financial situation. Gig workers often lack basic labor protections such as minimum wage, overtime pay, and unemployment insurance. This lack of protection means that they are more vulnerable to exploitation and financial instability. Without these safeguards, gig workers must navigate a challenging landscape where their earnings can fluctuate wildly from week to week. They are also responsible for their own healthcare and retirement savings, placing additional financial burdens on them. The absence of employer-sponsored benefits means that gig workers must allocate a significant portion of their income to cover these essential needs. This can lead to a situation where they are constantly playing catch-up, never quite able to achieve financial stability. This economic precarity creates a cycle of dependence that is difficult to break. The constant struggle to make ends meet can leave workers feeling trapped in a never-ending maze, with no clear path to financial independence. The lack of opportunities for advancement or skill development further entrenches this cycle, making it even harder to escape. Workers who are struggling to make ends meet are less likely to have the time, resources, or energy to invest in their own education or skills development, limiting their future job prospects. The demands of their current jobs, combined with financial pressures, leave little room for personal growth or career advancement. This lack of investment in their future can perpetuate their economic vulnerability. This in turn perpetuates their economic vulnerability, making them more reliant on their current employers, however exploitative they may be. The cycle of dependence continues, with workers feeling increasingly trapped and powerless. Breaking free from this cycle requires systemic changes that address the root causes of economic precarity and provide workers with the support they need to achieve financial stability and independence.